So let's start. Let's start. Welcome everyone here. I think we have nearly 90 people around. Thank you for being on time and being with us and spending this time together. I hope we'll exchange the knowledge nicely. Thank you for everyone online. I don't know how many people joined us, but we'll ask Bartek later on what are our stats over there. And it's. I think I need to mute my MacBook, not to hear the online as well. So Cursor is making a set of community events all around the globe. If you show up as a Cursor ambassador, they will help to make it happen. And thanks to this effort, me and a colleague who you met downstairs, Ilias, we are trying to build that community events in Warsaw. We are Cursor ambassadors by night, I would say, because there is 24 hours only in a day. And by day, I work for Snowflake. Ilias work for PandaDoc. We use Cursor in our daily work as well, so it's not a coincidence. I as well use Cursor at Snowflake for our job inside my role, and we use it globally, in fact. What's my next slide? My next slide is showing that this community lives around the globe. And in Europe as well, we have an event today here. In Tallinn, there was a coffee event today as well. Next one comes somewhere online, then in Ankara. You can have fun in multiple places. All of that, what happens today wouldn't be possible if I wouldn't have such great partners as Cursor and as BRAVE.courses. And I want to share with you that they support us with this venue, with a great venue to share our experience. They as well organized professional live stream, so that more people can join even without traveling. And why Brave? Why I asked Brave to help me in that, and vice versa, to cooperate, because Brave is delivering one of the best courses in Poland around AI. And it's not only for developers, it's for various roles. As you can see, you can prep yourself as a manager, you can prep yourself as a product manager, you can prep yourself as a developer in even 2 flavors of. Why am I hearing? Probably because I opened the YouTube and it's streaming on my phone. Now I get it. Yeah. So I strongly recommend. I've passed 2 of these courses and I love them. Be ready to book 5 weeks of your time when the next AI Devs 4 edition comes, because it's a heavy duty work and it's hard to do it when you have a day job as well. What else I wanted to say? And as you have seen raised hands, like how many people joined AI Devs already? So there is only half of the team which needs to be convinced to do it with the next session. Thank you, Brave. Thank you, Bartek. Thank you, Julia. She made it happen. She made the logistics for me sound very easy for that event. And without further ado, the format is, I decided to go for lightning talks, yeah, and asked you in the registration if somebody wants to present. 12 people told I want to show something, so I had to cut it to 6 presentations. So thank you for all 12 or even 13 presenters who wanted to contribute with the content. 7 of them we will see on stage, because 6 of them were announced, and the 7th one is a small surprise from me, because we identified top 1% Cursor user from Warsaw, Ruslan. Is Ruslan already with us here? Raise your hand and press the button. Oh, he will come later. Okay, we are still waiting for Ruslan. Because he is one of the top users, and he will add another talk at the end for how he experienced building. Sorry, Przemek. And you see, Szymon will talk about software engineering methods. Wojtek will talk about how they used in a company Streamlit and Cursor to predict human behavior. Michał will share something about custom commands in action. Łukasz will share how task manager can be organized before you dive into coding. Jakub will explain latest Cursor capabilities. Tomasz will say how to make a feedback. You make a rule, you polish it so that it works for your benefit and not against your will. And without further ado, let's invite first speaker, Szymon. Small switch of. I will pass the mic.
Okay.
And organize your slides here.
Good evening. Can you hear me? It's okay. Am I too loud or too silent? Too quiet? A bit silent. It's okay. A bit silent. Okay. I'm not, from the age where people are using mics, so I might not be the master of this. Okay, will you switch the slide? Okay, in the meantime, without cursor, you say. Okay, my name is Szymon Drejewicz. By day, I'm working as a group engineering director in ASI company. By night, I sleep. Really? So that's the last slide, probably. But I really like the slide. Okay, so today I'm going to speak to talk about software engineering methods with Cursor AI, and I think that this presentation is slightly about context engineering, but I'm not going to be boring. I'm not the expert of context engineering. However, one thing I think is true is that the context is the king. And please raise a hand if you think the same way, that context is the king. Okay, so we are friends. I'm really happy. Because it's a lightning talk, I'm not going to elaborate on every single slide. So if you have a question, just raise a hand and give the question. I will try to quickly answer your question. And after the presentation, I can give more details about my approach, my attempts with Cursor AI. I will start with one sentence that is really important for me, as I was a teacher in Warsaw University of Technology. I was a trainer of software engineering things and all of the topics related with software engineering, which mostly means requirements management. And that is very often very boring for developers. However, it's true that requirements management probably is the most ugly part of software engineering. And this sentence here is software engineering is a process where programming is actually almost the last step of the process, just before fixing bugs. And by this, I want to say that, of course, AI-assisted code engineering, code programming or coding is really important, but we have to remember that there is plenty of things we need to go with before we start to do any source code. Do you agree with me? Okay, that's good. Don't be afraid to say, no, I don't agree. And as we sit here, probably most of us, we can admit that Cursor is a very nice tool for code completion. Hitting tab or command tab or command enter, it's like playing nice game. You have yet another result. You can improve it, you can change it, but it's perfect. It's really changing the way how we write software. Despite we like it or not, despite we are fans of the programming or we like to program, but we have no experience. I know a lot of people who have no experience and try to use Cursor-like tools, and they are impressed how simple it is. So the question from my point of view as a person who most of the professional life spent as in roles related with software engineering as a manager, project manager, sometimes Scrum Master, this ugly agile epoch is, I would say, after it's done. But yes, I've been there. I was doing this, and 20 years ago, I was a regular developer, and I was working as probably half of this room or even more of you. And still what I see is the same question. If the given tool, this time it's Cursor or any other like Windsurf or, all of those tools today, Cloud Code, for example, mostly preferred by guys who are terminal users, can we use the tool for supported AI specification? How do you think? Is it possible? Is it a good idea to do software requirement specification using Cursor, or it's not? Raise a hand if you think that, okay, I accept this question, I accept this challenge. I think it might be interesting. Do you agree with this, or it's totally not interesting for you? Two of you, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. How many of you are daily developers? Most of you. So, okay. So before I will go to next slides with my lightning talk, which is really short, that are the questions which are terrifying for every system engineer or system analyst or architect. These questions are about, before we started to design, did we ask every single question? Before we started to code, did we choose right technology stack? Did we analyze the structure of the data, workflows, business processes? Do we know everything that is necessary? And the last question here is really tough. Maybe I will move on from away. Am I not mixing analysis with design? That's the key question with the role of software engineers, architects, and it's not my phone. Because I've seen many times that if you are trying to design a system and you are trying to start with the analysis, the worst thing people do, they try to design system before they start to understand the problem. So most of the analysts, system analysts, try to apply known solution to unknown problems, and that's the mistake. So this list of the question is something that we should take care of when we try to design a solution. So I decided that I will formulate this need in a way how we use to do user stories. So here is a user story of a single software engineer. Never mind which one, it might be myself or any one of you. As a software engineer, I need a rational process that will guarantee that I'm doing right things and I'm doing the things in the right way, and I have control over the whole process. And that is something that, okay, if I will use paper, if I will use books, standards, I can accept that that might be a solution. But what I think is, can I do this with Cursor? Is it feasible? I started to think about this when I was working by night on my side project. Nothing special, just simple application for lawyers, as my wife, she's a lawyer. So I decided I will build some kind of AI-supported legal department application. And when I was working on this, I started to think, okay, before I will produce yet another, lines of code, do I understand the requirements? Actually, do I understand the business needs that is before the implementation, that is important before the implementation? And I started to do some Cursor rules and all of those things you probably know much better than me. Just before the start, I've heard a short talk with the person who will be the next speaker just after Wojciech, probably. And I started to think, okay, maybe it was wrong idea to give this presentation, but okay, I decided, I sent my proposal and it was accepted, so I have to go forward. And I started with my code repository. I did some mistakes, I have some observations, and last weeks and months, we saw that, okay, this way of thinking about the rational process before you start to code anything, implement, test it, verify, many of the providers of the solutions like Cursor, Windsurf, even Amazon, and even GitHub, they established quite interesting project, which name is GitHub Spec Kit. It's a set of rules, prompts, and scripts that helps you specify requirements before it is implemented. Very interesting solution, but in my opinion, very limited to a specific technology stack or vision how the software engineering may go. Because my observation on my own side project was that the workflow that I want to realize with my concrete specific project, specific product, is really connected with the product itself. So it means that as long as I will try to apply, for example, a rational unified process or agile methodology, I will start to fix myself with the rules and expect to be flexible in the same time, which is insane. So I started to understand that I have to build an environment that is flexible in the same moment as I do the coding or as I specify requirements. So I decided that I would, sorry, I'm not the perfect user of the microphone. I need to fix my arm. I hope you can hear me quite well. Yes, it's okay, good. Thank you. You are very interactive. So here is the description. For half of you, probably it's nothing special. A set of simple rules for Cursor ID, which are actually readable for human like me. The documentation folder, which is definitely folder for myself, maybe someday for another developer who will join my project. And I decided as well to put some templates there, and I decided to put some kind of repository-specific workflow, let's say, which actually was simple document describing how I imagine the sequence of the artifacts like requirements, to-do list, use cases, scenario for use cases, implementation work plan, and so on and so on. And I thought that it will be as easy, you know, with tab key when you try to press, yeah, okay, next, next, next. But of course it was wrong idea. It was stupid. And I found that this way I will produce a lot of specification, a lot of documents that probably are not needed for myself because my intent is obvious. The problem with communication between me and AI is that I know the intent, AI doesn't know the intent. So hallucination, production of many unnecessary specifications, you know, a lot of requirements that I have never written anyway, I see in my specifications. How come? It's because my prompts are not precise. Is it because I don't know. Actually, I was not aware how it goes that it's so productive in terms of giving me a lot of specification that is actually not necessary for me, because I know what I expect. So I decided that I have to change something. But before I will move to the solution, which is actually also really simple, I must admit that there are some pros despite of the cons in this way of thinking about the software engineering, because Years ago, when you decided that, okay, I want to have requirement specification, I want to define all of the use cases, all of the sequence diagrams, all of the classes, fields, and all of the things that probably for some of the programming languages are not anymore useful. It was really difficult, for example, to do some kind of backward compatibility or checking your specification versus the product is implemented. So in other words, after a few months, every software requirement specification was outdated and nobody liked to have it. And today, the situation is totally different. You can very easily synchronize it 10,000 times daily. If you decide that, okay, after this change in my source code, I can rebuild the specification. I will check if the criteria of the acceptance are okay or not. I can do traceability matrix, for example, when I can verify if every single requirement from my specification is okay with every single task I have on my list as a developer in the project. So I decided that I will introduce simple solution. So this time to this silly process with hitting tab and auto-completion of everything and producing a lot of software requirement specification entries and reviewing them without understanding why I have a lot of shit there. I decided that I need something simple like review, tweak, and tune. And that's actually changed the way how I get nice outcome from software engineering using AI assistance, because review, this step, this micro step, gives me better understanding of every single artifact in the process, in the software engineering process assisted with AI. When I tweak the artifacts after they were generated by AI, actually I'm improving the repository. So the product of my work is better action by action. And then I have to tune the process because I don't like repeat myself. I don't want to repeat the same mistake with generating yet another artifact in software specification wrong way. That makes no sense. I need to improve it. And next time, whenever I ask for the feature description based on my drawing or something, I expect to have very good specification that will be useful for myself or maybe my colleague next time. So this tuning of the process is actually for Cursor. Cursor is using all of the artifacts. And this is the reason why I said that this presentation and this simple workflow or way of thinking is about context engineering, because everything I do, even if I'm using Cursor AI as a software engineer, not just a programmer. No offense, I like to be programmer, but sometimes I think that software engineering is much more than just coding. So moving back to the clue or to the main conclusion of this presentation, I need to be very flexible with the process if I expect that I accept every change that is coming every day to my specification. And I think that the mistake with software engineering so far, or insane, naive assumption, was that we can have very solid fixed process and expect that every development team will be flexible as hell every week, every sprint. They will, deliver whatever you want just because they have solid iterative process. But it's not true. The process itself as well, it must be flexible as we expect the team to be flexible. That's all. Thank you. Any questions or comments? There is one question or just hand.
Thank you for your talk. My question is, what does the tuning look like for you in practice? And does it just modify the templates, the rules file, or?
Exactly. That is simple as you said. Whenever I have, for example, a request defined by my drawing that I want to have an application window that shows me operations sent to LLM model, that's the feature of my application. It must look this way. It has to keep the buttons for reviewing pages and so on. I expect to have a list of use cases for the given feature. And before I will go further with the implementation even of the specification, not the code, I want to review this part of the specification. So I'm reading the use cases and I'm analyzing them. And that's a very interesting question and example, because I found that years ago, there was a SVO grammar, which stands for subject verb object grammar. So whenever you want to specify any scenario for use case, there is very good grammar to write every single sentence of that. And LLM like it like hell, because you are precise, and LLM can take, classes, operations from every single sentence in the scenario. So that's, yes, I'm doing it manually on every step. And actually, this is a very similar pattern like it was with the AI-assisted programming, because you remember the initial phase was that we started to build code and we started to have a lot of poor quality code. So we decided that I need to have often commits. I need to track the changes, because if I will destroy anything, I can quickly move one step back and repair the bug or repair the mistake. And the same is with software requirement specification. You should put it in such a granular way that you have control over every single aspect of the workflow. Any other question?
Questions. One more question.
Okay,
no
questions.
Thank you, Szymon. Thank you very much. Round of applause. Speakers were receiving an exclusive Cursor pin, just to let you know. So next time, I strongly recommend you as well show up, because pins are limited. And just a small switch of technologies. And I would love to invite on stage Wojciech Ozimek. Let me hide it. Stage is yours, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. Hello, everyone. Thank you for being here. And what is funny about this kind of lightning talks is that they are from totally different points of view, and mine will be about more about business and a little bit about psychology and how we used the Cursor for the psychological-like product. But first, how to navigate my own presentation?
Yeah, I made it more complicated because it's second screen.
Wow. Okay. So just push this button. Okay. 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 Thank you. Thank you. So basically, what we are doing, what is the problem we are now using Cursor to solve? I mean, partially because we are in this business for like 20 years or something, and we for many years we are developing the motivational platform. Basically, the idea of the platform is that the people are getting tasks. I mean, basically, the company has some business goal. We are working with large companies, with large sales networks, and so on and so on. So imagine you are buying a mobile phone, and the company that is selling you the mobile phone, they usually has some goal, like sell 20,000 mobile phones and so on and so on. That's boring. But basically, this is the start of our story. And when they want to sell these mobile phones, they need to set the targets for the people. And doing this task requires some behavioral change. Behavioral change means that someone needs to do something totally different, like ask additional question. Sir, do you like the mobile phone? No. Okay. but the question was asked. Yes, so this is the behavior. And basically from the psychological point of view, if you'd like to introduce the new behavior, majority of you are developers, you are programming machines, but this is also possible to programming human behavior. To program human behavior, it's called conditioning or learning by example. So basically, you can change from a psychological point of view, have two methods for changing human behavior. One is reward schedules. That's simple. That's working for any kind of organism, from simple ones like fishes, dogs, cats, rats, etc., to the humans. So if you give the reward, the people are or any organisms are changing the behavior. This is one stuff. The second stuff is social learning, and this is the most important one because we are the social creatures, and our vision is mainly connected with this diagram, and this is why Cursor comes into the scene, into the place. So this is one thing, but. Reward schedules, task with points, so-called gamification. We give the people tasks. If they do the task, they are rewarded. There are different schedules, like do something 5 times and you will get the reward. Do something before noon and you will get the reward, and so on and so on. Bonus systems, gamification systems, all this kind of systems work on this kind of mechanism. And the social learning, this is the next slide, and I hope this tweak with arrow works. Okay, the social learning is a little bit more complicated, and this is something we were working on we started to work on it a long time ago, and we're working on different kinds of analytics, and Cursor as a tool, but I think it's not only the Cursor, but the birth of large language models allowed us to make it more in a quicker way, more agile way to develop several models, test different models, and so on and so on. But the basic idea of social learning is, I will refer to it showing you the Cursor, is that if you look at any activity done by humans, large group of humans, population of like 2,000 people of some telecommunication company, those guys that want to sell you mobile phones. Usually, you will have some kind of a distribution. If you are lucky, it's a normal distribution. Sometimes it's moved to the left or to the right. But basically, the idea is that there is a group of people somewhere in this distribution that is the majority. So if it's a normal distribution, so typical product, typical market, and so on, it's close to the normal distribution. I will have a lot of people in the middle of the distribution. Here is the performance, here is the number of people. So we have population, etc., etc. And basically, what is our vision and what works, basically, because we can prove it on data, we are working with universities, we are analyzing this data, and so on, is that majority of the motivational systems are working only with the best people, because these are bonuses, competitions, and so on and so on. So majority of the systems, the main focus of the companies, of the corporations, is really focused on the best guys. Yeah. So these guys got bonuses, these guys are winning competitions, and so on and so on. But if we look at this kind of chart, it's more rational to work with the majority of the people, because if we will move these guys by a small step forward, we will create the change that is scalable, the change that is interesting from the whole organization point of view. So the idea is to detect this number of people, this amount of people, first observe the performance. This is what our platform is doing. It was not developed by Cursor, unfortunately, because there was no Cursor when we first found it. Then do some kind of orientation. So here we are using the StreamNet, and here we are using the Cursor, plus some kind of a business intelligence. Decide about new tasks. And this is interesting because what does it mean to decide about new tasks? If you look at this chart as this diagram, you will see that if you would like to move each person one step ahead, we need two things. This goal for each person, so it is personalized. So if someone sold to the customer 2 mobile phones, the next goal probably is 3 But if someone is very good, he should share the knowledge, or she should share the knowledge, the other guys in the company, because there is no next step, basically. But this guy has a knowledge that allows us to move the whole distribution forward. And this decision about new task is a learning algorithm. And again, this is something we are now working with Cursor. And act on the performance. This is the last step. The last step is send the new task to the platform, to this tribal platform, and again the whole cycle begins from the beginning. And this is something that's called OODA, Observe, Orient, Decide, Act cycles, and was used by U.S. Navy or U.S. Army. Colonel Boyd, he invented it for the dogfight, for the aerial dogfight. Sorry for my pronunciation. First block of our solution is Streamlit. Paweł should know Streamlit because it's currently owned by Snowflake. We started to use it before it was cool, before it was bought by Snowflake. But basically, the idea is that Streamlit allows you to work with the data visualization as with the code. So it's not like Power BI. So it's not that you are filling some kind of forms and you are trying to create some reports and so on and so on. Power BI is also cool, but not in this case. But Streamlit is something that cool. Basically, I'm telling you about Streamlit. Who is using the Streamlit? Oh my God! So I need to talk about the Streamlit. So Streamlit is a visualization engine. Okay, Paweł. It's a visualization engine that allows you to create the diagrams or the reports using the code, basically, or the whole user interface using the code. Of course, it can connect to some database, underlying data, and so on, but you can mix the code with the visualization. And it is a very good way to very quickly check, to very quickly verify algorithms, to very quickly enable, test different ideas, and so on and so on. Of course, probably who's working with Jupyter notebooks. Okay, thanks. So it's like the Jupyter notebooks, but much more sophisticated. You can create interactive forms, interactive diagrams, and so on and so on. This is the example. So here we have this is part of our system. Here you have the top improvement opportunities. So we are splitting different groups, the people into the population of employees into different groups. And based on the potential to sell stuff, we are determining which groups has the most potential to buy total potential impacts to deliver the specified target, to deliver the goal, to provide the company with some value. And what is very funny about it, that it was nearly totally generated with Cursor. Probably you know this, that Cursor is capable of this thing. But what is very interesting for me is that we can use the Cursor plus Streamlit for something that I call the visual storytelling. Visual storytelling means that I have some story in my mind, like user story Szymon told you about, that allows me to show this story to the decision maker in the company, the business. Yeah, so the story is, let's look at the people performance, then looks at the people activity, then find correlations between performance activity, then change potential, and then I will recommend something. If we will go through all these steps, we will have the full story that can be presented to a CEO, CFO of the company, and it is easily understood by this person. Okay, and Cursor and architecture, some tips and tricks, or probably all of you are better than me in the Cursor area. I'm working with a whole team of people, and I'm happy that most of these guys are much more wiser than me. But basically, I'm also working with the data and with the code. which is my hobby. I mean, this is during the day I'm working with these people, and at the night I'm working with our product. So basically, what we found working with the Cursor. The first thing was that Cursor, it is possible to create the ETL, extract, transform, and load with the Cursor. And this was, I think, one of the funniest things ever, because we were using different tools for ETL. And it started one day, and then we moved to the Cursor. And when we started to work with the Cursor and the SQL database, I think it was t.b.d, we've noticed that it was very easy to start to work with the SQL, but at some point, we had to throw away the whole branch of project, because the relations between the data, especially if you have some data warehouse architecture, in our case, it was very simple architecture. It was star architecture. Star architecture is, do you know what is a star architecture for data warehouse? You have the fact table, and you have different dimensions or directories that explain your fact table, your reality, your world. Yeah. So we have, for example, information that some user didn't done something at some date. Yeah. But the users are just identifiers, and you have the dictionary of users. So this is a star, because you have one fact table and you have different data. So Cursor was not capable of handling this, or we were too stupid to do this. Yeah, this is the second hypothesis. But we tried to make it as simple as possible. So we created the ETL solution, a data warehouse and data warehouse architecture based on CS files, comma-separated value files. Probably all of you use these files. And this prototype allows us to very quickly work with the data, because there was no database, so we were working just with pure files, text files, and so on and so on. But what happened next was fantastic. It was something we should have predicted, but we had not predicted. It was the idea that the Cursor itself was able to be the ETL, extract, transform, and load. So if we provided the data from our customers, and this data, the data was, of course, anonymized due to GDPR and so on, it's hard to work with large corporations, but requires some extra diligence. But when we provided, this is the structure for our warehouse. So it's based on files. So you know the data warehousing, you have the raw data, you have process data, and so on and so on and so on. So basically, the Cursor was able to understand the structure of this data. I mean, large language model that was Claude, Anthropic Claude, was able to understand. Also, we were able to create very quick tests if the data are okay. So this test allows us to very quickly verify the data from the customers. If something is missing, if something is what was missing, what was okay. What was the most impressive thing from my point of view is that we were able to test the logic of the data. For example, once we got the data from one of our customers, there was like 6,000 records and so on and so on. I got the first information from Cursor. The data is probably not okay. In fact, this is the information from large language model. And we ask why? Because either the customer fired several hundreds of people, or there was some change in the organization. And there was a bug that the people were assigned to the wrong teams, and human with this amount of data probably will not be able to detect this on this level. I mean, on the level of just extracting and transforming the data. It probably will be detected later during the reporting and so on and so on. So this is one thing. So Cursor. Cool stuff is that it can be used for testing the data. You can use it also with the data and so on and so on. This is basically the ability of the large language model, but also the possibility of the Cursor to understand the huge context, a lot of files that can be analyzed. So we can analyze your algorithm together with your data. this is something that was probably one of the wow moments in our projects. The second thing is that I showed you the Streamlit interface. How we started to work with data visualization and this data storytelling. We were also doing this part of our project. We were also using the cursor, but we were using the cursor like in the two windows mode. Like in one window we had the cursor, in the second window we have the running Streamlit application. Because when you update the Streamlit application, there's a mechanism called watchdog. It allows you can test the application live. So you do not need to reload, restart the application. You can test how the application is being changed live. So this is one thing, and this can be very huge amount of changes. Like you can rework the whole user interface. And it was much more easier to work with Cursor. It was something like that. So I was, when I started to work in IT, it was like 90s or beginning of the 21st century, so 2001 or something like this. So if you look at this reminds me of, time before the Microsoft Windows or Mac OS 6 and so on. But basically, we're able to discuss with the large language model the structure of the screens using some kind of the ASCII art or something like this. So it was not only the ability to generate very quickly the new user interfaces on the go, sometimes with the customer, immediately with the customer, but also it was possible to be one step earlier in the user experience part. I mean, to ask why I want this, why I would like to do this, and so on. So, of course, there's one problem. Szymon mentioned it: over-creativity of the large language models. So, if we were not careful, we got the user interface with the whole amount of features we had not expected, and they were not important for us and for the customer. The last step. Actually, we are working with this setup to test the different machine learning models, because the idea is that we are not only using this running average, this normal distribution to predict what will be the next step. We are trying to really predict what will happen based on the different features. Like in typical machine learning models, you have different features like user performance, but also user activity on the platform, but also how many free days are in the given month, and so on and so on. And we are using ensemble of the models. So we're using several models and we're trying to mix them. This is one of our latest model when the majority of the predicting power is coming from the lightweight gradient boosting methodology model, sorry. And here are the results. And what we are using here, we are here at this moment, we are not using here the Streamlit. At this moment, we are using Jupyter networks. This is something I asked you about. It should be I or Y? Okay, so it's a typo. Yeah, so, and we are trying to verify different hypotheses and so on. The model, of course, is better and better with the next batch of data. And the last thing, we are still, of course, Szymon told you about it, so I would not. Live documentation and so on and so on. We are doing a lot of models, parameterization, features. You need to document it. So we are working live documentation based on markdowns, but also Jupyter synchronization. Oh, here is right. But basically, what we would like to add is psychology and interpretation. So we have some numerical model that tells us whether a specific amount of reward will create the change, or some interaction between the people will create the change. So the people will change something change in the organization. We can foresee where the people are burning out, where the stress is too much. I mean, target is too high for the people and they are not doing target, but also they are losing their activity. So we are using, this is another part of the model. I do not have a slide here. If you would like to talk about it, we can talk about it during the next part of this, of today's meetup. So we have the idea, we have this, all of this data in form of the numeric optimization model. And we've noticed that when we provide the large language model with data for the grounding and some basic knowledge about what patterns in the data may be, may cause, or etc., etc. So what are the patterns in the data and what effect they might cause in the future, and so on and so on. So we can create something like an autonomous coach. And we started to talk about it as a cursor for psychology. It happened with one of the experiments when we put a lot of MD files, markdown files with different psychological theories, references to the data and the real data, and the algorithm basically to the cursor. Yeah. So, and when we tested this against the psychologists, the people who work with us, it was extremely accurate. So this is, but of course, the very important thing is that we are starting from the optimization model, not just with LLM and so on and so on. So we have the data that we can explain. So probably the next step is to provide the explanation of the data, and this is our challenge. This is our challenge for us for now. Sorry. Okay, I'm very aware of that. I just scratched the surface of this project because the first chat with LLM through the cursor was like mine chat, not my team. My team was earlier, was like 6 months ago. So we had plenty of stuff, plenty of chats with the LLM. Etc., etc. But this is basically it. This is something I would like to share with you. I mean that we can use the cursor not only as the code, but also as some kind of development hub. And especially if you are working with scientific data, you can work with the data, you can work with the explanation of the data, and you can work with the documentation of the data. So it's much more than just coding. It's some kind of extension to a typical scientific environment like Jupyter notebooks, etc., etc. So of course, this is not only tool like that, but this is the tool we are using actually. Okay, so that's all from my side. If you have any questions, it's a good moment now to ask those questions. I do not have any rewards for the questions. Yes, yes.
From psychology, as far as I know, in behavioral economics,
Yes.
it's often, or lately, 2 years ago or something like that, that to go into details, if you would like to be a good man as a AI developer, you should implement a decalogue from the Old Testament into your guide governance, yes, step. And it resolves all the problems because it is well understood for Muslims, for Hindi, not only for Christians. We will not cruel, nie pokłócimy się in this way.
Okay, few things. Basically, what we are doing here. I mean, I start from the Decalogue because it's yeah, but I can show you the solution. I mean, not the solution for the Decalogue because it's, I mean, the solution is well known. But basically, we implemented the context, we implemented the chat based on MCP and several tools and so on. So the main chat is a Cloud Anthropic, basically desktop. Anthropic desktop. It can be moved to the Cursor, but basically, and Cloud Code. And we implemented the methodology, psychological methodology that is called, based on something is called the chimp paradox. I don't know if someone heard about chimp paradox. Chimp paradox is that everyone in our brain, we have like two natures. One nature is chimp, the monkey. So the monkey wants something now. It's 5 times stronger than our human part. So that's why we are emotional, we react very nervously to if someone would like to take us, or we feel that someone would like to take something from us, and so on. So the second part is human part. So this is the best part. I mean, the part when we are thinking about something. It's connected to the behavioral economics because it's connected to the System 1 and System 2 of Daniel Kahneman. Daniel Kahneman is a Nobel Prize laureate, and he actually got the Nobel in very much something very similar here. It's System 1, System 2, behavior, attention, the capacity theory of attention, and so on and so on. So we can talk about it later. But basically, I have the prototype of this cloud based system on my devices. But basically, when we started to do some routines in Peter's methodology, have morning routine, evening routine, and so on, we decided there is some need for some grounding for choosing the right way, and we use the Bible for that, actually. And you can watch. I think this is we very quickly changed the battleground from selling mobile phones, very simple task, like you're supposed to do the targets, you're working for the corporation, you're selling stuff, to 10 years of your work in some, I don't know, some other area that requires your that's my fault, because I started to talk about different projects. Yes, but basically, we are talking here about very simple target setting, target validation, and so on framework. Yes, so we are talking here about simple goals. We are working for retail stores, for telecommunication companies to help people give the rewards, and the rewards should be fair. The rewards should be motivating, and they should be economically wise. So we should have something like a Nash equilibrium here all the time. Yeah. So everyone should be okay with the reward. I'm sorry, I'm flattening this totally out, but I do not have time for explanation. Yeah, but basically, you're right. I mean. Tak.
Just for the sake of time, sorry to break you guys. Let's move the discussion for the break. Let's give a chance for another one question, and maybe we do a small bio break, because it's hard to sit so long in a chair, right? But another question. Huh? This one doesn't work, so that's why I stole it. Another question to Wojtek. Last one.
How do you think about evaluation of this new solution you're building with MCPs and LLMs? What's your approach to validating in general how the system works? What criteria do you use? How you build this system?
Basically, we are evaluating mainly the LLM here. I mean, the Cursor is used for developing the code. but what we are evaluating mainly is this lightweight gradient boosting plus some other methods. So that's pretty easy. So we are forecasting some results, some number of behaviors, and next month we are checking if it's working. And this was the yes, this was the slide here. So we have this mean absolute error, yeah, and the error distribution. So if in majority of the cases we are, I mean, the error actually it's the error is 6.7% in predicting the behaviors, but they are simple behaviors like if someone will sell the mobile phone or someone sell the insurance and so on. So that's easy. We are not evaluating LLM. We are evaluating the optimization algorithm that, of course, needs evaluations, and these evaluations are done very frequently. Once a month.
Thank you, Wojtek. And let's have now a small tech bio break. Another presenter will connect, and maybe you want to use bathroom, drink something. 10 minutes. Agree? You will catch. Bye-bye, Przemek. Restarting in 10 seconds, 9 seconds, 8 seconds. Last seats are free. Last beds in the back are empty. Please come back. We still have some meat for you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So our next speaker will be Michał Jarczewski, who will share with us something about custom commands in action. Michał, stage is yours.
Thank you very much. Hello, everyone. So I would like to talk about team standards as code, custom commands in action. So a little bit about me. Oh, okay. Technical break then. Break dance? No, not this time. Sorry, guys.
Is there anyone from IT in the room?
I think we are live. Yeah.
But there is content missing. I'm trying to get back to content. Probably press too many buttons. All good?
All right. Back to the slide deck then. All right, but yeah, Paweł did change the screens and I cannot now manipulate with my slide deck. Perfect. Where's the presenter view now?
It's additional $5. Sorry.
It wasn't in the free trial.
Now we close it. Yeah, I was too quick. If we do like this, then you will have your
Yeah, almost second screen.
here. I promise we will have better guardrails next time.
Okay, perfect. I think it should work. Okay, perfect. All right. So let's get it started. A little bit about my background. I'm a tech lead QA at Deal, 10 years in the industry. I'm part of QA Tech Excellence team, where I oversee quality for 8 teams and 50 plus engineers. And I would like to talk about custom commands in Cursor. We have enterprise subscription there. We've been using this AI IDE for several months already. And besides that, I've been using Windsurf and a Cursor in my side project as well, and other AI tools. Yeah, Windsurf. Whew. All right. So what are custom commands in Cursor? If you haven't worked with them or you are not just leveraging them frequently enough, those are reusable, version-controlled AI prompts saved in Markdown files that are stored in a certain directory, which is .cursor/commands, right? And on the right-hand side, you can see a screenshot from the official Cursor documentation that is giving you a few ideas how you could use them in your development workflow. So one of the idea could be create a PR, right? So like you just type // in the Cursor chat and then like create PR, and that could do comment for you and open a new PR. Let's say even raise a PR in GitHub if you have GitHub MCP and so on installed in Cursor. It can address GitHub PR comments. I think this is a very good use case for them. Very often you will work so hard on delivering a new feature, or in the QA test automation on delivering new tests pretty much. And you are getting comments there, sometimes maybe a lot of comments. And if you have very clear rules, guidelines, and documentation about your project, you could leverage AI to do some of the work for you. It's just a boost in productivity, a significant one. All right. So how can they be useful, right? So I believe custom comments could be used for standardized quality gates. I think this is a very important point to make. And how I work with them is, this is Playwright workflow, since I'm involved in test automation, the Playwright framework primarily. So we do have, those are example custom comments to do initial self-code review, right? And by the way, you could change those custom comments as well, right, in the chat. So you can do / and just pretty much type code review, then improve PR, and then generate PR description, for example. And as a background, we are a small team. We are reviewing a lot of pull requests. Many of them are below our quality level that we would like to achieve. And we do have an extensive set of guidelines saved in Markdown files. We do have, on top of that, Copilot instructions, since we also have a support for Copilot in the company, and obviously for Cursor rules as well. And this is just one of example where you can type /code review, right? And then if you will get like a red flag, then you need to improve your pull request, right? Okay, you're not following our guidelines. But if you did a good job there, then you are getting like a green light, and okay, your pull request is ready for a review, okay? And this is everything before you will actually raise a PR, and I will get notified in Slack, email, and so on, to review the PR. So pretty useful stuff. That brings us to key takeaway number 1. Standards should be implemented, not merely documented, okay? So what I mean here is a lot of companies have an extensive set of documentation that is living in Confluence, maybe Jira, maybe some comments, maybe Slack, Microsoft Teams, and so on, so on. Or, I don't know, just tribal knowledge, right? Even without written down all those criteria that people would like to other people to follow, okay? And with the custom commands in Cursor, you can pretty much automate your flow, your workflow, right? And then if you will do it in Cursor, you can say you have now not even a workflow, you have AI workflow, right? So it's just another portion of automation that you can do there that is making things more efficient for you, right? And there are more examples of how you could leverage custom commands, right? So on the left-hand side, you can see for developers use cases. So code review, error handling, generating API docs, refactoring certain components, right? And you can put there, obviously, your own, based on your company, your own React patterns or standards that you would like to this AI, this LLM to follow, right? For QA engineers, this could be going back to Playwright, using Playwright CodeGen to record a test, get passing test, but kind of, messy code, and then just use that custom command to refactor this code into production-ready code that you will get, slide back. You will get the green light to process, to raise a PR, and you will get TLDR, all good, right? Like raise APR. Obviously, you can generate business flow diagram. We can use Mermaid. We can analyze test coverage. This is also very useful use case for custom commands. Custom commands version in Git, reusable for everyone. I think it's like very useful tool. And then I think in Teams and Enterprise subscription in Cursor, there's an option to have team-wide same set, standardized set of rules and workflows that everybody in the company can reuse. So what about Mermaid diagrams? So this could be always up to date living documentation, right? So just imagine new joiner joining your team or company, and obviously they need to onboard. They do not have all the context. They are just new, of course, right? And they could use Cursor and either custom command, for example, to reuse the same AI prompt, or just your own sample prompt as well, right? We have also the prompt examples file in Markdown in the repository as well, just to give people ideas of the options or possibilities. This is also boosting adoption at scale for many people at the company. So this is just one very simple example. I did that, to be honest, today under 5 minutes. It's probably not perfect. You are getting suggestion, description and LLM model suggestion, which LLM should be or is preferred in this scenario. So you have everything, all the context there, and you just pretty much attach the context. Can be one file, can be multiple files. You can change those custom commands, as I mentioned, right? And you are getting, on the right-hand side, you can see the Mermaid preview plugin in VS Code, Cursor, and so on. So it can read the Mermaid diagrams, by the way, right? On top of built-in ability in Cursor to actually do the same. But very useful plugin, by the way. And the results are as follows, right? So this simple, very kind of silly prompt is giving you an excellent result, right? For a new joiner that is just onboarding to the new project, you are getting kind of complex structure there, right? Yeah, in the enterprise area, everything is kind of complex, right? So I needed to redact a bit of the output here, but you can see in the red circle here that there is an option to zoom in, zoom out, copy, which would copy the Mermaid, not the image, but the actual like code behind it, right, that you can reuse, save to your Confluence, save to your like Markdown files and so on. And of course, you can make it full screen and then see it better, right? So that's that, which brings us to key takeaway number 2, that you can visualize complex business flows with a single command, right? That's very simple. You could probably do the same with the prompt, but it's again about following the same workflow, the same step every time, to share the knowledge between different team members, to boost AI usage at the company, right? Because there are many senior technical engineers that are thinking that they are doing excellent job, and they tend to be maybe, not always super enthusiastic about adopting some of the AI tools. But, by the way, custom commands could be used in, as I was also showing, in for other use cases, for context engineering, of course, for the p.d.d, for product requirements document refinement as well. There are also other tools, by the way, on the market. Like that depends on your company. What kind of AI tools do you use? But this is also a possibility. And for the future, I believe that custom commands could be in the CI pipeline. That's just feels like a natural next step to use Cursor CLI to just automate that even further, right? To not rely on the Cursor IDE. Of course, it's nice, a human in the loop and so on, right? But sometimes it's about being more efficient, and you can run the same thing multiple times in parallel without your intervention. So I think that that would be next step. If Cursor team is listening to us, then hopefully they will prioritize this feature request, because the last comment from 20 days ago was, yeah, nice feature request. We'll prioritize, later, kind of. Yeah, that's all from my side. Thank you very much, guys. If you want to connect, then feel free to scan the QR code, and we can open floor for questions. All right. Where's Paweł? Okay, I will go to you. Okay, I will give you the mic then.
Have you used Playwright MCP in your work? If you did, how do you evaluate against maybe direct Cursor's browser tool that allows agent to interact with the browser?
Yeah, we are using Playwright MCP as well. Sadly, I cannot compare it with the Cursor, because you got access because you're not on the enterprise subscription. This is coming later this year. So sadly, not possibility for enterprise users to try this out yet. But Playwright MCP, very promising, a lot of use cases. Not only to work with actual Playwright framework, although this is also a possibility, but just for kind of like manual testing work, even like if you have the test plan, test cases, and simple enough application, of course, it could go and explore your application, click here and there, following certain scenario, and it will give you some kind of results, right? It won't be perfect, but it is a possibility. I would advise using, if you would like to add new tests, right, in Playwright, for example, I would advise rather use a Playwright CodeGen than the MCP, because it will be just faster and it's easier to refactor the messy code than try to just make the test work, right? Because like you will get a lot of issues pretty much. I'm sure of that, right? It's always like that. It looks like a great code. It can. I did the experiment. Like it is following the rules. Like if you made them, comprehensive enough, it is following the rules. Especially the latest LLM models are very powerful. But yeah, like Playwright MCP, I would say definitely in the future, but not today.
It's about the code review command. What does it cover? Does it only cover like coding standards, or does it also detect logic errors? And do you also have some kind of solution when the PR is already made and a command running in the repository cloud and basically automating the code review of the other developers?
Lots of questions in one question. Okay. So we could definitely automate that with a Cloud Code SDK, for example, right? But this is API pricing based, so which means expensive for the enterprise, which means the adoption is lower because it's expensive to adopt this kind of tool at scale. In Cursor, you have monthly quote of the amount of prompts you can make, and then additional budget for like when you will exceed the limit, there's like additional, again, API pricing based a budget for your team, right? And that depends on your company and like how they are paying for this, like how they negotiate the agreement with the Cursor company. But yeah, as I mentioned, right, on the previous slide, yeah, that was previous slide. Once it will be available in Cursor CLI, I think that's, I mean, unless they will make it like a premium feature, but if not, then it should be totally possible to put it into the CI, and yeah, you will get automatic feedback very, very soon. And going back to the first part of your question, if I still recall, how do you write the code review custom command, right? That was the question, like what is it really doing? I think it can do whatever you would like it to do, really. I mean, you know, being reasonable, like there is a limit to that, but like for example, like we do have DB best practices, right? And it's a document, living document that sits somewhere in the knowledge base, right? But why not use that knowledge to do the actual code review before the PR will be open, right? It's just much more efficient use of everybody's time, since in the enterprise scenario, there are multiple teams very often requested to review the pull request. It can be definitely 5 teams, it's like 8 teams, right, to review, or maybe even more to review like bigger PR. It's pretty standard. So chasing people for reviews, it's a lengthy process. Yeah, it's exactly. It's like additional layer on top of as lint rules. Like for example, in Playwright, we do have custom lint rules, by the way, right? So we try to enforce standards automatically already, but there is a limit to what you can automate, and there is a certain degree of reasoning, like thinking there with the LLM usage that you can take it to the next level.
Let me close the round of questions because for the sake
Not
of time,
sure if we can hear you.
for the sake of time, yeah, now I'm online. Sorry, I will close the round of questions. Next questions in the lobby, just for the sake of time, so that we will give chance to all of the presenters to show up today, not tomorrow. Thank you, Michał, for your great presentation. A round of applause. And we will slowly but steadily switch to Łukasz. Thank you. I will entertain them, and you want to connect yours. So. Łukasz, after small connections. Łukasz, stage is yours. Let's
Hi.
give a round of applause to Łukasz to warm him up.
Who is still not asleep? No hands. Right, so I want to share with you today my secret for working with large projects, and it's about planning. So there is an open source project called Taskmaster that does one thing, but does it really good. So let's start. The presentation is rather tactical and pragmatic, but let's start with a slightly high-level angle and a philosophical take. So I believe that the tools we use shape how we think and how we do our craft, and that everything evolves. So because the tools we use change constantly, they enable some new practices, and we are observing that with vibe coding. Thanks to Cursor or Lovable or Bold, we can see the emergence of a new wave of people creating software. And it's all about the change. So some things get commoditized, like code generation, but at the same time, the value of certain skills is decreased, and some skills gain in importance. And I believe that higher level skills like understanding architecture, having a good judgment of how the good code looks like, or being able to plan in larger chunks, are those skills that are gaining the importance. So let's keep the vibes in vibe coding, but let's also introduce some engineering practices to the mix. Spec-driven development is something that has already been mentioned, and Cursor has recently introduced planning mode. And the great thing about this feature is that it seamlessly integrates with the workflows that users already understand. So it's not something that adds a lot of complexity, but it introduces even the notion of planning before doing to a lot of new developers. So here is how the feature works. First, Cursor does what it does best. So it's indexing your code base, and based on your request, it reviews your docs and asks some clarifying questions. And we have a human in the loop step where you can clearly view the plan before it's implemented. And this step is very important because this is where your judgment comes into equation, and you can edit directly to those that are the steps that agent will execute. So let's see how it works in practice. And this is the difficult step. Okay, so in practice, we are entering our request. First, we switch to plan mode. Here, I wanted some non-trivial task, like creating some MCP server for marketing task. We get those clarifying questions. I answer them briefly, and the planning mode is being executed. Because it's a clean project, there is not a lot of context to understand, and we can see the markdown with project structure and some steps to follow. It follows my request to use specific library, and we can see the to-do action items. We can modify them, and we can start executing. And this is how it works by default. But the hidden feature, or not that obvious feature, is that we can save this plan before we execute that. And I will explain why it's important in a second. But for now, we are saving that plan, and we have this planning artifact that lives in our code base. So as a result, we have this action plan, and it's a great step because it introduces some planning to the equation. So at this stage, we are moving from vibes only to some vibes and some coding practices involved. But there is still a lot of, let's say, degree of freedom, some elements where things may go wrong with this prompt. And let's think how 10x better plan could look like. Perhaps it would have some more context. Perhaps the content about the action would be more structured. Maybe we would like to have some clearly expressed acceptance criteria or testing strategy for a given feature. That is not an overkill, but it's just enough to test this specific task we do. And it would be great if such plans could work with teams in multiplayer mode with version control, and it would be great if they had CLI or MCP server. So this is what exactly what Taskmaster does. So we can think about Taskmaster as a project manager or a brain that keeps our intentions in check with reality. So it protects our projects from drifting, from expectations, and it helps to avoid what I call vibe bankruptcy. So it's when you wanted to do a thing, but after a couple of hours or iterations with Cursor agent, you have no idea what has happened, and even worse, you don't know how to revert the changes, and you have to declare bankruptcy and start from scratch. So let me show how. How to start working with Taskmaster. So on Taskmaster-dev, we have instructions. The first one is that we should install it globally, and then in our project we are initializing Taskmaster. At this stage, we are being asked some questions how we want our project to be set up. So for example, we say that we want to keep track of our tasks in repository. We want to work with Cursor, so it will generate rules for Cursor to understand Taskmaster. We can select more than one coding environment, and then we select a language model. Or even 3 language models, because we can assign different LLM to different tasks. The most important one is general one. It's responsible for deconstructing your PRD or your intentions into tasks. But there is also a research model, and we can select from the huge variety of options. And what I have chosen here was Gemini Pro, but served from Gemini CLI. So the price is good because it's a free model for now. We can select different models for as a fallback model. So for example, here I'm selecting OpenAI GPT 4.1, but through Open Router. With that we are ready to go, and as a result we get in Cursor folder the rules, how Cursor should work with Taskmaster. But one of the cool additional features we get is this instruction how our system could self-improve. So every time we face some challenges or some debugging loop, we can just tag this cursor rule in our agent session, and it will understand what went wrong and what adjustments to our rules we need to implement to avoid that. And this is a config file where those LLMs are defined. And yeah, I will maybe speed up, but later I decided that maybe I won't use OpenAI's model, but rather I will select something that is different from OpenRouter. So I just search for this model. The recent one that works well with coding is GLM from the Chinese lab. So I just check how to how this model is defined, and I override the default settings that were generated during the project initialization. So at this stage, we have LLMs defined. The only thing to set up is to just create .env file with keys to LLMs. And with that, we are good to go. So we have, by doing that step, we now have CLI that comes with Taskmaster ready to be used. We have MCP, we have those cursor rules, and we have the basic structure for repository. And we can manage the costs because we have selected the LLMs that we want to use. So right now we are, this is the typical workflow. To start with Taskmaster, we are first generating the plan. So this is this task breakdown, and then we can review it and review specific tasks, and we can execute one by one in Cursor. And that's how it looks like in practice. So the first command, if we imagine that we don't have Cursor agent available and we maybe we want in different coding environment, or we want to work manually from the command line. The first command line we need to execute is parse PRD, and we just pass a path to our document where PRD is drafted. And as a result, we get this breakdown that has priorities assigned to all tasks. Tasks have dependencies, so we can see that task 2 is of a high importance, but first task 1 need to be completed. And yeah, then we can zoom in and zoom out and see the whole project plan, so we can review those tasks and modify them or adjust the plan. And the last thing to do is run Taskmaster next. And what it does in the background is it's reviewing the current plan. It says where we are in our project with statuses, which tasks are completed, which are not done, which have still pending dependencies, and based on that, it defines what's the next best step to for us is. This is how a single task view looks like. So you can see those elements we already covered, like priority, dependencies. Complexity is a great one because it gives us as a users good understanding where the bottlenecks may be in the execution, or where the tricky parts of the project are. And if some tasks are complex, it makes sense to break them down into subtasks, so they also then appear at the bottom. And the great thing that goes well with the previous session is testing strategy. So maybe we don't need super hardcore, strictly defined rules for some small project, and it can also be reflected in this area. So when we just pass this task to agent, it does what makes most sense. So the initial selling point for Taskmaster was that it's a command line environment, but I think that we can say that people come for CLI but stay for MCP. So this is what I mean. You just activate the CLI that was installed with this initialization step, and in agent session we can rather than executing those commands I showed you one by one, we can just that we want to parse PRD, and this is where our initial plan from Cursor comes into play. Hello. So our task for Cursor agent was to parse PRD, and as a result, you can see that in Taskmaster tasks folder, we have a JSON with this dependency graph and all the tasks defined. And then we can execute those commands I showed you before to understand the high-level plan or specific tasks. But because Cursor has already those rules that were installed with Taskmaster, they define the workflow. So it knows that after parsing, the next logical step is to quickly describe where we are with the project and execute this Taskmaster next command. So before even we ask, it suggests what the most practical action should be. Okay, so I think that the new workflow that is now possible is combining the both worlds. So we can use the Cursor plan mode for vibing and brainstorming. It's great at understanding our short intents and discussing what we want to do. Those clarifying questions will make sure that the PRD is on point of what we intend for. And once we save this plan, we can use it as input for Taskmaster. And then, we move from planning to the execution stage. And during the planning, we will find that our plan is changing. And that's by default how Taskmaster works, is that it's not an edge case that our expectations change during the project. It actually assumes that it is a default mode, that the plan will change. And for that, we have specific commands for updating single task or tasks with future dependencies. So it's really great for this self-improvement loop. So to speed up, there are some more advanced things like analyzing complexity, avoiding vibe bankruptcy, and handling merge conflicts. So we can set the threshold for complexity. And we then run complexity analysis. And based on that threshold, it will suggest for all tasks that are above, how to break them down into smaller tasks. So we can see that the most complex task was writing the documentation, because this project was rather simple, and yeah, to make sure it's really executed well, it should be broken down into 4 tasks. So to avoid this implementation drift, we also have an option to update a specific task with a prompt. So we just need to express our intent. For example, we are switching the database, or we are using different design pattern, or whatever. And then all tasks, not only this specific task is being updated, but also the future tasks that depend on that one. So that's really a really smart approach for managing the plans, because otherwise we would change probably somewhere in our document that part manually, but it would be quite difficult to go upstream and understand what other parts are affected. So if we are working with teams, we may find that our task JSON is different than the one that is already in repo. So to avoid that, there is a feature that moves your new tasks. If they have the same IDs, they are being moved, so the conflict is being avoided. So some pro tips. Rather than learning CLI commands, I would advise to just start with MCP, and after 3 minutes of scanning the documentation, you will have a good idea how to work with Taskmaster. Use version control. It's a good practice to commit at least after each major task is completed. So you can always jump to what was working okay. There is an option to tag different tasks and group them by tags. So we can use that to organize the work by features or by themes. And then there is a feature that is not used often, but is very handy for validating the dependencies. So we may modify some small pieces of the plan along the way, and then we just run this validation. So key takeaway is let's use tools that are aligned with our priorities. If we are building complex projects, planning is probably a super high leverage task. So we may use a tool that does this part really well. But by combining what Cursor has just released with Taskmaster, we get a really good stack for quite mature AI engineering practices. So as a result, we have added a lot of engineering and coding to vibe coding practice. So yeah, let's make planning great again. Thanks.
Thanks, great presentation. Have you seen any workflows that there is like a single Taskmaster instance that makes the task for a team of few developers, probably connected to linear as a layer that connects to the task?
Yeah, so I think I even mentioned it here that because it's MCP, it works well with other MCPs in one session. So that's by default, by design, how MCP works. So it's a great tool for teams. And I don't have a lot of experience with working with large teams, but I rather use it with 2 or 3 people. And everyone has its own taskmaster on local machine, and it's not part of the code base. The part of the code base is just are just those artifacts that taskmaster generates. So this task file is what's being pushed to repo, not taskmaster itself.
Yeah, maybe two questions. So I'm very interested in which models do you use in your daily work when you use this taskmaster tool? So it seems like the performance of taskmaster really depends on ability of the model to use to do tool calling. So which models do you use?
Yeah, I like Gemini model, so I use the Pro model as a default one for those general tasks. And for the research mode, I'm experimenting with different models, and I see that people recommend using Perplexity for that by assuming that it's good at grounding research in web search, and it does research part really well.
How does taskmaster tool perform in large code bases? So it seems to me I tried to use those in the past. I think what was called Cloud Taskmaster or something like that.
Mm-hmm. So is this one?
Is this the
yes,
same?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. And it seems like it breaks down when the code base grows really large. It seems that the model just ignores the rules that are embedded in the taskmasters any kind of files.
Yeah, so there are two failing points. So one is maybe more about cursor following cursor rules, how we design the flow. And in this area, I found that clearly translating your expectations of the flow into rules, but keeping the rules small and very direct is what helps. But by working with this flow a lot, I default to just explicitly mentioning the task rule I want to, the cursor rule I want to follow at the specific stage. So, for example, I have t.b.d. Rule that defines that what should happen before we even start coding, and yeah, by just starting with saying, okay, I just say next. So it already knows that next means execute the next task. So I just write in the agent window next and tag this rule. So it knows that it should combine. So it's rather not a full auto mode, but yeah, when we know those failure points, we can direct our attention and avoid those mistakes. And sometimes just mentioning that explicitly gives you a comfort that you also understand what is happening, and you can control if we are not closing, getting closer to this vibe bankruptcy state.
Let me maybe close with that question. Thank you, Łukasz, once more for a round of applause. Short break to switch presenters. Bartek, do we have screen share? Cool. Without further ado, let me welcome Jakub on stage. Round of applause. He will share the latest Cursor capabilities. And by the way, a small message. There is something coming up soon, Cursor 2.0. I cannot share with you that it will show up in next weeks with plenty of new stuff to talk about. So maybe another round would be needed next month. Jakub, but stage is yours now.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. My name is Kuba. I'm front-end developer, and today I want to talk about some new features of Cursor, like plan mode. So you've seen it already, but from my front-end perspective, it's a bit different. So I think you all can find something useful. But let's start with a story. Who knows that? You have an idea. You go to the Cursor chat and roughly describe the task. AI starts working on it, but then you spot the mistake and you tell AI to fix this. But then it escalates very quickly and AI makes the same mistake over and over again, and you are so frustrated that you close the Cursor chat and you will do it yourself. Everyone knows that, so it's very common in AI world. But what if there will be a better way? And here comes plan mode. Maybe it's not a perfect solution that solves every problem, but it can make things a lot of easier and can bring you much more control. And now it's live coding time. I'm surprised that I am the only one who do live coding, but let's see. And wrong. Okay, so we will be building the simple design from Figma. I found and yeah, it's just a simple layout. I didn't want to make it complex because Figma MCP is not very great for complex designs, but this should be done good. Here's the newsletter form with only interactive part. And as you can see, I have the Figma MCP server enabled. And it's also worth mentioning that there is a interesting setting in the Figma MCP because you can set up how Figma will handle images. So if you have this design, the MCP can host the images on your local server. Use just a placeholder, but also can download them to your project, so you don't need to do it manually. But for now, let's leave the local server. And yeah, we can start building. And for yeah, important part is that we have this section selected, so the MCP server will see this. Okay, and now it's time to code. So Paweł, can I have my human mic holder, please?
Let me be your MCP server for Mike.
Yeah. Okay. So we will, yeah, to enter plan mode, it's the Shift Tab shortcut. So Cloud Code users should be familiar with this. And we can just start with simple build the app from the Figma design. And that should be enough for the agent to start planning and see our design. So let's see. Yeah, it's calling the Figma MCP. And after a while, yeah, we should see how the planning phase looks like. Oh, yeah. And now it's a great part about plan mode because it asks questions to clarify. Because many times when you use LLMs, you are not totally clear what you want from AI, and these questions are very powerful and could make this more clear for AI. And here we need to choose what framework do we want to use. And I will go with the Next.js because we want to also implement the contact form, so it will be the easiest framework. Let's use Tailwind. And here single page, but let's also clarify that make the contact form functional with API call to the Next.js API route. Okay, and if you are not, if the question is not clear for you, you can also elaborate so the agent can explain for you. So this planning phase is iterative, and you can make as many questions to AI as you want. And here we can see our ready plan. And you can also edit it directly. So if you have to add something or clarify, you can edit it manually, or as I said, just ask again. And now we can click build, but there is another way. And with clicking build directly here, there's one problem. This is a problem because context, as you may know, is limited for all models, and AI models are good at doing one job at a time. So when the context window is large enough, the quality of the answer from the LLM can be worse. So it's good to it's totally fine if you have a simple task, but if it's a more complex one, like 10 to-dos or more, I recommend to start a new chat and then just say let's implement, and here you can reference the plan file. And also let's make sure that Cursor will use the Figma MCP again, because there's a fresh context, so it needs to see the designs again in order to implement it. Yeah, and that should be it. And in a while we should see this working. And if when the agent is building, so may I ask you who's already used the plan mode in Cursor? Okay, that's good. And yeah, so as you may see or recognize, those features of like those patterns of plan mode is widely recognized in the prompt engineering world. So it was known for a while that instructions like let's plan before to build it, or first first ask me questions if I missed something. It was known before, but Cursor team implemented it directly to their IDE, and it works very smoothly. And yeah, it is creating. So yeah, we need to wait a bit. Yeah. Yeah, sure. Not always. I mean, Cursor changed this policy of allow list, deny list recently. So now there is allow list of comments. So I use it, and Figma is just on the allow list. So if you install the new MCP server, probably Cursor will ask you how would you like to run it, and yeah, I just allow Figma to run all their tools. Yeah, for me, Sonnet is the best, and it's my favorite model since, I don't know, 3.5 version. I like how it's integrated with Cursor because for me, the way how Sonnet handles all the tool calls inside the Cursor. As you can see, the deletion is I need to accept it. So yeah, Sonnet for me is just the best in terms of integration with Cursor. I am surprised why, for example, Gemini is not working for me the similar way as Claude, but yeah, for me the feeling is just the best in Sonnet. Yeah, so yeah, it's not very good now. When I tried this, it went faster, about I don't know, 2 minutes, I think. But yeah, it's AI live demo, so everything can happen. Yeah, exactly. Today was a bad day, and yeah, I think yeah, hopefully not. But now? Ah, okay. So yeah, maybe that's why. But yeah, if he won't manage to do this, I have ready page, so I can show you and go to the next part. But let's see if he can build it. I can also mention that I experimented with Figma MCP for a while, and it's not as good as we all expect probably yet. But if you have a good design structure, like design tokens, colors, components, etc., it can be quite useful, and for smaller sections or fast prototyping, it's very good. And also, as you saw on my example, Figma can be also used as a context provider, because sometimes you don't need to have documentation for your project. You only have designs. So you can start with the Figma design as a context. Of course, it's not very token efficient, but yeah, that's one of options. And yeah, it's done. Okay, let's see. Okay, so the server should be now running, and Yay, it works. Okay. So as you can see, it seems pretty good. There's this newsletter form, but I don't want to click it myself. And I will use Playwright MCP or browser use to check it. And yeah, we can already enter the new chat. Paweł, can I please have you? Paweł? Okay. So now, if we have our page ready, we don't need to click it manually, but we can do this also in the cursor. There is a browser use, not native browser use in Cursor. That's one option. Under the hood, it uses Playwright MCP, so it should be familiar for those of you that use it. But it has some smart optimization and tweaks that works just better in Cursor. So, for example, logs are stored in the file and can be grabbed. So context is optimized, and the screenshots can be used for visual reference. But I won't use the browser now. I will use the Chrome DevTools MCP because what is great about Chrome DevTools is that it's the best MCP for DevTools usage. So it implements many features from Chrome DevTools like network inspection or performance trace. So let's use it to test if this newsletter form is working. So check the newsletter form on. Yeah, let's add the URL to make sure it does not go into any bad page. And also add that what is the server response after registration. Okay, so I want to show you the this. Oh yeah, and now MCP opens. Oops. Yeah. What is happening? Yeah, it worked, but now it's not. Okay, let's clear the cache. I don't know. But yeah, as you can see, the MCP can open the browser by itself. And yeah, nothing is happening. Wait a sec. It's here. Okay. So it stopped working.
Beauty of live demos. You're the first one so brave to make it live. Don't worry. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We know how it hurts. It was working the whole week, and now you have a CEO in the room, and everything is crashing. I get it daily.
Maybe let's try again. Let's manually run the dev server if.
But you know, Jakub, we trust you that it works. You don't have to prove to us.
Okay, on the new ports. Okay, so let's try this again. And wait, but it's not. Oh, okay, yeah, it's here. Oh, as you can see, it types. Oh, yeah, now it works. So you could see that MCP typed the email into this input, and subscribe. It figures out by its own. And now what I want to show you is that this one. This one? No. Yeah, it didn't do what I wanted because okay, yeah, here it is. So this is exclusive feature of Chrome DevTools MCP, and as you can see, after listing all of the network requests, it's also available in the Playwright, but Chrome DevTools can also get details of single request. And as you can see, it's all data that you have available in the network tab in the DevTools. So we can see here all requests headers, all response headers, and also the response body that we were interested. So in the end, the agent answer our question correctly. And yeah, live demo is done. I'm shocked that it worked. And yeah, okay. Thank you. Okay, so just to sum up, plan mode is great to catch early mistakes and align the model with your thoughts. Agent can ask questions to remove ambiguity, and also those questions can make you think about things that you haven't thought earlier. And saving the plan, as Łukasz, for example, showed earlier, is great for spec-driven development. So you can reference those files later and build history. Figma MCP is good for fast prototyping, but it's not perfect yet, and you can't expect pixel perfect layouts in one shot. And browser use and Chrome DevTools are great for another step in this agentic workflow, because now agent can debug itself. So it's great to just tell the agent to do some path and check logs or network tab and figure out the mistake by its own. And Chrome DevTools have some exclusive features that are great in terms of advanced front-end development. And yeah, that's it. Remember, at the end, you are in control, and I hope this presentation can help you to. Thank you. Do you have any questions?
You mentioned that did you probably maybe test other models for testing for for planning? Which one are the best for the plan mode itself?
For plan mode itself, I didn't, but before plan mode, before plan mode and before Sonnet 4.5, I used GPT-5, and with this high effort of thinking, it works pretty well in terms of planning and this high level thinking. before GPT-5, I also used Gemini Pro, but as I said, I'm not a fan of how Gemini works inside the cursor. So yeah, maybe it's not just the front-end stuff, because I also worked on some side projects on backend with Python or machine learning. And I just feel that Sonnet suits best for me.
Yeah, thank you for your talk. So I have a question about Chrome DevTools and this visual computer use. Can you please share some examples on how to use it on your workflow? Do you prompt it to automatically verify its own changes, or maybe have some automations? To use it?
In terms of Chrome DevTools, it's very new, so I haven't used it in the daily work many times, but I found useful that it can read the network logs. So if I had some error with the API communication, I could ask the agent to check this, and it's easier to figure out. For example, if you have the backend on the separate project or some complicated microservices in services that just run the app in the browser and check the actual response, then just going through the code and all those repositories. And in terms of Playwright and screenshots, screenshots can be helpful when you are implementing some designs, but in last time I just didn't have such tasks, but I tested Playwright to make some testing paths. It's quite slow now, but it can handle like going through the e-commerce shop and buy product. So yeah, for manual testing, it can be useful when you have a few paths to click and the agent can just do some part for you.
Thank you. Great presentation. Thank you, Jakob. Round of applause. And we are switching presenters to Tomek quickly or slowly. Slowly, slowly. Jak chcesz, to daj mi po prostu. Teraz tylko... Bartku? Tomasz, finally stage is yours. Interesting that I hear myself. Probably if we do the funky change, then it will improve. Tomasz, stage is yours.
Hello guys, thanks for being here so late, so I went back to an empty room. So let's make it quick. My name is Tom, and some time ago I decided to launch AI first automation business. So far the only part of this plan that worked is AI first, but that's exactly what I'm going to talk about today. Namely, I was able to use Cursor and Cursor rules specifically to reliably create some actual useful and large code snippets that I then can reuse in multiple projects. And I was able to achieve that thanks to iterative improvement, or improving the Cursor rules in iterative process. So we'll quickly walk you through this. I think that Cursor rules are very understated solution that not many people mention. And I think that's simply the one most powerful feature of Cursor. And one of the reasons I keep coming back to Cursor, like I miss this in other tools, even though there are many. The reason for that is the Cursor rules are granular, can be and should be. This leads us to other points. They are easy to create and manage, easy to refine, and they should be kept small and concise. So, not sure what's the state now, but some time ago, people were trying to come up with the best prompt for Cursor or any other coding agent for that matter. And how can we approach that? Yeah, let's create one gigantic prompt that contains all the knowledge about our project. Design patterns, tech stack requirements, our preferences, etc. There is, for instance, this page called Cursor directory, when you can go and grab ready prompts. I got this one. It's like 500 lines in total. Everything, multiple frameworks. So that's a tech stack, some workflow, calling API, and much more. Design patterns and a whole lot of code snippets. So that's very bloated to begin with. But then there are other problems. If you want to get this prompt or write this prompt from scratch, it's difficult to customize such a large prompt to your needs. And often if you change one part of it, then suddenly agent may lose track of all this. This prompt loses its coherence and may lead to some unexpected results. So it's very slippery. But even if you take a lot of time to polish your massive prompt, it's still impossible to anticipate all the possible problems. Sooner or later, errors happen, and you need to deal with them anyway. And no agent will be able to handle that everything in advance. Another issue with this kind of prompt, this kind of huge monolithic prompt is that it's difficult to reuse this prompt in other projects if one of these frameworks or just type of the project or any other guidelines change, then you need to create a new prompt from scratch probably, and cannot rely on this one. So my approach that I took a long time ago is to build prompts step by step, and Cursor rules allow exactly that. Yeah, so I think this graph shows that pretty clearly. The great advantage of Cursor rules is that they can be not only applied to specific file extensions, so specific languages, but also some domains, yeah, I can have different rules for REST API or scripts or different models of our project, but also guidelines for agent about the process, launch scripts, and our policies, etc. And this is all applied to our context automatically based on wildcard paths or globs. So that's another advantage that Cursor has over CLI tools. It takes no time once you set it up to choose the right rules for your specific use case, depending on the files that are currently open. You don't need to type or select anything once it's configured correctly. Yeah, so my advice is to split rules into small reusable parts that you can just mix and max and switch between projects. And also they are easy to version and exchange or move to another projects. Personally, I keep all of them in monorepo so I can reuse them in sub projects. Yeah, and it compounds over time. Okay, so let's be more specific. Is anyone familiar with Marimo dashboards? One guy mentioned Jupyter notebooks. So Marimo dashboards were meant to replace them, and they have many advantages. Namely, they allow fancy widgets, real-time operation, and controls like buttons, all kinds of sliders. So that's their advantage. But there are also many problems. First of all, as you didn't hear about it, LLMs didn't either, because that's a new framework from 2024. So relatively fresh knowledge, and design patterns for this can be quite tricky. Yeah. Then there are quite complex interactions between the cells. Maybe I should just switch to this and show you a simple example. Okay. Yeah, so this is the simplest example I can think of. So let me show that. So there are some scripts, very simple scripts, as I said. It's a trivial example. And there are some parameters I can load from .env. There is a custom console at the bottom. But most importantly, it all fits on one page and documents the process, like what I was trying to test, how I was trying to test it, what were the results, and I can see everything at a glance. Of course, if I had to create all of that on my own, or even design such widget on my own, it would make no sense. It would take much more time than this solution saves. However, if we can use coding agent to generate such widget on the fly, well, that suddenly begins to make sense. That's another example. More steps, and the process is explained here step by step. And it's all configurable. I have also more advanced use cases like real-time push-to-talk button. Also, data science guys use Marimo for all kinds of fancy graphs and plots, but that's not the point of this presentation. The problem is these dashboards can be quite lengthy. Like this one-page dashboard is over 400 lines, and models still may have some problems with getting all the requirements, like all the dependencies between different cells, and especially when real-time cells are involved, it's difficult for a model to figure it out. But after many steps of refinement, which I will demonstrate later, I was able to come up with a concise set of rules, which walks agent step by step through everything it needs to do, like how to construct UI, how to manage interactions, interactive elements, what are the dependencies between elements, and etc. Typical problem solutions, and it all fits in 170 lines. And now code 4.5 is able to one-shot that, and suddenly this makes this kind of workflow much more reasonable. So now Marimo dashboards are my go-to solution for as a wrapper for any kind of tests or just dashboards or scripts. So I have everything in one place, and one technology covers it all. But some months ago, it just wouldn't be feasible. Okay, so how did I achieve to do that? Let me walk you through the process. Well, first of all, like we don't rush with writing huge prompt instantly. We develop code as usual. Then we run into issues like something we didn't anticipate, but also something that agent got wrong. Then we just make a report of these issues. Agent does that for us. And then we use this feedback to refine the rules. And that's iterative process with human in the loop. In this example, this is the loop and I am the human. Okay, so that's another take on same flow, I think. Maybe I should take you to examples and show actual prompts. I'm not sure if you can see it, but I will try to make it larger. Not enough fingers. Okay, I won't. Anyway, I hope you can see that. Well, this is a custom comment that we already mentioned. This one is pretty simple. It refers to another rule, which basically explains output format, like what kind of info should be included. And this kind of info is, first of all, what was the problem? Like what solution did we attempt but failed? What was the final working solution we found out? And finally, how to prevent this kind of issue in the future. So one slash comment is enough to generate such report, and LMs are generally good at generating, especially after we figured it all out, not before. So that was one step. One of two, actually. There is also, I have this one. It's so simple, I don't need to show it to you. One sentence prompt that it's not my idea, but it works wonders. And it goes like that. Ask agent, like, what kind of prompt and what kind of context would you need to one-shot this task? If agent fails, if you both fail at developing something, but finally arrive at correct solution, then agent will be willing to explain like what was his problem and how would it be able to one-shot the task. Then I gather these reports in dedicated folder .notes. Do I have whatever .notes? There are plenty. And I can use them as input data for further refinement. But of course, browsing through all these lengthy notes would still take time. So I've got another prompt for that. Let me show you. It's here. Okay. So this is Cursor command. However, I use it in Gemini CLI free plan because it's more convenient way and I can save credits. What's the idea? So in interactive loop, the Gemini, in this case, analyzes all these nodes that I showed you. It analyzes our existing rules from given folder and checks if the issue explained in these nodes is already converted in the rules. If it is, just delete the nodes. They are not longer necessary. And if it's not, update the rules. And of course, in the interactive session, it's easy to keep track of what actually is going on. It's not fully automated process, so we can have good confidence that rules remain right and useful. But at the same time, personally, for me, it was very convenient to just go through the chat, have agent analyze large blocks of text. It's good at that. And just give me yes or no question, delete, split, or save. And this way we can refine the rules based on actual output, actual feedback that we got during our project, actual failure points, post factum, like when agent failed or we failed because we didn't anticipate it in the first place. Yeah, so we don't make this mistake again, or agent doesn't. Okay, what else? Remove duplicates and keep prompts lean. That's more of an advice than a part of this workflow. But yeah, using small granular rules and this process, updating them piece by piece, helps that. Like, do not duplicate rules, do not bloat context, and do not waste tokens. And also is the same rule as in software engineering. Do not repeat yourself. So the shorter the prompts and the rules, the more meanings they contain, the more useful message. Well, the more useful these rules will become, and this way, our knowledge persists, like in this pyramid. This was supposed to be Cursor logo. If you can make AI generate this right, then let me know. This way, we document our issues and solutions that we found for them based on actual experience. So effectively, Cursor learns with us. Everything we encountered will now be recorded, and agent will be aware of that and reuse that in the future. This way, over time, you build a reusable knowledge base that you can apply to different projects. As rules are modular, so and they apply only some of them apply to project when needed to files of certain extension or files in certain folder. So you can just keep all the rules in monorepo and reuse that. Okay, so this is quick summary and action checklist. Okay, I don't think it brings any more insight over this what I already covered. It's to develop, report, define. Yeah, it's just a reminder, and it's getting late. So let's finish this. Of course, if you want to learn more about AI in general and AI-based development, then feel free to follow me on LinkedIn. And that's it for today. Any questions, maybe? We've got one.
So thank you for your talk. To understand your solution. So basically you, after each execution or after several executions, you create new notes file, and then you process these note files to update your rules.
Yes, basically it's a good practice, like at the end of every chat where there were problems and agent didn't one-shot it. Yeah, I just run report command and agent creates a new node file. So once cursor commands were added, this is basically free process. Of course, then it takes time to review these nodes, but well, the worst can happen. You can not do that and discard them or wait for better time or better use if you don't think this report was useful. Probably if you would like to scale that to some enterprise level, we would need to think about some graph database solution instead of plain text files. But at least plain text files will work for everyone. Also, I think it's a good idea to exercise that in the team. So with team effort, it's easier to come up with a full set of rules in some reasonable amount of time. And it doesn't interrupt your natural flow, like you don't need to know it in advance. It just naturally is created as you go.
Yeah, so actually my question based on this is, some time ago I already tried something similar when, but much simpler, when I just include in my core rules file that whenever it understands that something should be updated, just update its own rules file. Did you try any simpler solution? And do you think there is something more sophisticated that can...
Yes, the problem is that that sometimes agent makes mistakes, like it doesn't update the rules as I would expect it to. And if you After a long chat, start prompting it to fix that, come back, rewind. It becomes messy quickly, so I gave up this and I prefer this multi-step approach. It's cleaner this way. And it's not obligatory. I can just give up and do not update rules if I don't think the nodes add anything to it. So I can proceed as usual. Anybody else? Okay.
Thank you once more. Round of applause. Thank you for being tough to wait till the end. And I think it's a good time to close. Sorry, Ruslan, we didn't manage to get you as well on board because we are really off the time, because I wanted to invite Ruslan as well on stage, but I would suggest we all gather and enjoy a little bit of more pizza, which is there, and drinks and talk more than having a sitting position any longer. Thank you for joining. Thank you for all people online who joined us and survived the long day with us. Till the next one. Thanks.